Our guest speaker tonight is Dr Easkey Britton.
I'm interested in the link between the relationship between society and sea, looking at the link between environment and human health, and in particular how being out in nature, engaging with the outdoors, especially the sea and water, impacts our health and well-being. What we're finding is that water memories are some of our most powerful in terms of the emotions that they evoke, be they positive or negative, and often it gets triggered by those early childhood experiences. Like the evidence is coming out on the effect of even going to an aquarium and watching these kinds of displays and fish has an effect on our physical and mental well-being. So it actually reduces our blood pressure and our heart rate and improves our sense of mental well-being. Blood plasma and seawater are 98% identical. So we're kind of body to body. We literally have like it's an ocean inside us. Experience and comprehend the world through our senses. And the sea especially is such a multi-sensory experience, and water. And it leaves that powerful imprint, let's say, on our bodies and minds, as we've just discovered. For example, it's visually stimulating. You have thousands of shades of constantly moving or changing blue. Wave-exposed coastlines like we have on the west coast. We're then exposed to, I suppose, negative ions from breaking waves, which have been shown to alter our biochemistry. So literally lowering stress and boosting our mood or those feel-good hormones. And then even the sounds and smells of the sea all have an effect on our well-being. And that's before we even dive into it. Here, I guess where we are right now in Salthill with Black Rock, there is such a culture around engaging with the sea and sea swimming. And if we think about the brain, there's evidence to show that simply by just looking at the ocean, there are changes in their brainwaves frequency. Our heart rate naturally will slow when we're in water. That they're increasingly being linked to the fact that we've become disconnected. So either this sort of increasing sense of social isolation, but also connection with the natural world around us, in part because of the way a lot of our daily lives are designed or shaped in this sort of sense of busyness. It can be hard to find those moments of pause, to tap back in and reconnect. To think about one way that you could connect with nature every day. So the more we expose ourselves to nature and water and the sea, the more it helps build our own inner resilience. But I do think with more creative thinking, we can choose how to respond in a more positive, creative way, which